Talking a little hoops again this year with Chris Mannix, NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network. You can listen at NBCSportsRadio.com. Download their mobile NBC Sports Radio mobile app today. Chris, welcome back to the show, bud. How you been?
I'm good, Mike. How you doing?
Always good. And, this season we should have some more positive things to talk about here locally, but I know you are close to the Celtics situation as well. And, man, what a ride they've taken the people of Boston on in the early going. So we'll start with them because they were really, to me, the biggest story of the offseason.
Yeah, their recovery from losing Gordon Hayward has been the story to start the season. Going 0-2 to start, having to really recalibrate everything and win 10 straight kind of on the fly has been remarkable. Kyrie Irving's been great. Al Horford's been great. But I look to some of the younger players as being difference makers here. Jaylen Brown is 20 years old. Jason Tatum is 19 years old. They're stepping into starting positions, playing 30-plus minutes a night, and making big plays. Jaylen Brown's responsibility is to defend the top perimeter player on every team, and he's done it pretty well. Jason Tatum, at the end of the Atlanta game on Monday, knocks down a three-point shot to win it at the end. This has been a remarkable rise. It's been fueled in large part by guys that maybe you wouldn't expect to be playing this well this early.
Yeah, I know here locally, the Fultz deal not looking good early. It's been a bizarre story, but how has it been received early on? How is Tatum being received?
Tatum's been great. He came into the NBA ready to score. You knew that. You saw him in Summer League, and he had great footwork. He was polished. You even saw it at Duke. You knew he'd be able to do that. What he's been able to do better than people thought has been defend multiple positions. He's not a lockdown defender by any stretch, but he's able to still do it at a decent level. And look, Boston, they knew that they wanted Tatum, and I think they knew that they were going to try to make a deal for another point guard or keep Isaiah around, so that contributed to moving off the Fultz pick. But I wouldn't panic in Philly about Fultz. You look at the track record there. Embiid, you missed out on him for 2 years. He was worth the wait. Ben Simmons, he was worth the wait. Dario Saric, he was worth the wait. It might take a little bit of time, which is frustrating for Markelle Fultz to come around, but I just based on what I saw of him in college, he's going to be worth the wait.
Well, at least Fultz isn't on load management yet. The Sixers play tonight, of course. You can listen to the game right here. Late night in Sacramento, 97.3 ESPN has the coverage. And talk a little bit about them. You just talked about Boston and their story. Sixers got off to a little bit of a slow start, and 3 games in, Brown's got to go. He's not the right guy. They're making too many mistakes, and here they've won 5 in a row, a couple of road games. They win in Houston. They won in Detroit. The Pistons are playing good. So the Sixers seem like, even though all the off-the-court nonsense still lingers over this team, it's not letting them affect their on-the-court play.
Look, if you're using mistakes as a referendum on Brett Brown, that's a low bar. That's too low. This is a team of teenagers and barely out of teenagers. They're young guys with very little experience playing in the NBA, and they're going to make a whole bunch of mistakes. There are going to be 3, 4, 5-game losing streaks, during the season, just like there are right now with the 5-game winning streak that they're on at the moment. The key for this team is going to be playing their best basketball in March and April, and whether that means a playoff spot or not. If they're winning 4 out of 5 or 7 out of 10 in March and early April, that's the best case scenario. Because that will give them a springboard into 2018, 2019, when maybe they can really make a move and consider themselves more than just a fringe playoff contender.
Yeah, Chris Mannix, NBC Sports, The Vertical here, talking NBA as the Sixers again tonight. And Ben Simmons, a lot of us were wondering what he would be. I kind of said, look, I saw him in the Summer League, and that's all I needed to say this guy is going to be a difference-making player. He was so far and away, to me, the best player 2 years ago in that Summer League that it was just going to be a matter of time that as soon as he jumped on the court, good things were going to happen. But did you expect him to make such an impact to the point where if they didn't have Embiid last year, they were not competitive for the most part? They won a game the other night on the road without Embiid, and I guess you could say it's because of the way that Simmons has jumped right on the floor.
Yeah, look, he's been a triple-double threat every single night, and he's really thrived in that kind of point guard, point forward type of role. Look, the Summer League stuff, I remember watching him there as well, and I liked his passing ability, but, he was making passes that would get picked off in every NBA game. Like he was making those bounce passes through the lane that summer league players are not going to make. But Ben Simmons could make that play in that situation. He still is turnover prone. I mean, he's averaging right around 4 turnovers a game. He's got to get better with that, but that goes for any rookie at that position. He clearly has a unique and high level skill set on all areas of the floor. And as his 3-point shooting develops, he's not even. I don't think he's made one this year. He's not even a 3-point shooter at this point. But as that develops, he's going to be hard to stop. He really is, because he can score off the dribble, he can play make, he can rebound, he can start the break on his own. I mean, he and Embiid are both true number one option franchise players on any team out there.
Yeah, Chris Mannix, a lot of great stories. Knicks have been great. Porzingis has been unbelievable. They lost last night. He did not play. Golden State sending a little message to Minnesota that you're not quite there yet. They bombed them last night. Detroit's been great in the early going here. But really, a lot of good stories across the league, and yet Jahlil Okafor still sits in Philadelphia. Are we starting to hear that there's more interest, or is it just going to be, we'll just take the best of the lousy offers we get?
Yeah, I mean, look, if they don't want to buy him out, they're going to have to take the best of the lousy offers. I mean, they're holding out for a first-round pick. It's not there. And if it is there, it's going to be the most protected first-round pick in the history of first-round picks. They're just not going to get any real value in exchange for Okafor. And I can understand, the front office not wanting to just cut him loose and eat the $5 million he's got coming to him this year, especially when they wasted such high draft capital on him. But their alternatives are limited, and if you're not going to play him, and if he's not going to be part of your rotation, he's obviously not going to be part of your team moving forward. I think doing the right thing by him is probably the way to go. I think in the next couple of months he's going to get bought out, because as far as I can tell, there isn't a team out there that is willing to trade for him. There are teams looking to sign him. Boston, Chicago, I know those teams are on his list, and and he's on theirs. But as far as a trade, I mean, take the second-round pick and the draft and stash guy over in Europe. Take something if you really want to get something back in return.
All right. So far, we're just 10 games in. It's been fun early because the offseason was so fun. That's why the beginning of the season has been so fun. You said the Celtics have really been your story, but how about the Cavs on the other side? Is there legit concern there, or are they just kind of yawning through another regular season?
No, I don't think this is the same situation that the Cavs have been in years past, because the personnel is different, and LeBron is a year older. There's no Kyrie to kind of save them from some of this stuff. And look, their defensive issues are going to be issues all season long, and they haven't been the greatest defensive team in the LeBron 2.0 era, but they've been able to dial it up at different times, and have had maybe better defenders up and down that roster. This year, it's Derrick Rose, who's never going to be a plus defender. Dwayne Wade is never going to be a plus defender. I mean, LeBron is going to work himself into better shape, and when he does, that team is going to be better defensively. But I think they're going to have real problems, stopping teams all throughout the season. I mean, I had one scout tell me the other day, with Derrick Rose out there, he can't defend the pick and roll, and the pick and roll is the bread and butter play in the NBA. And if you can't defend the point of attack on that pick and roll, you're going to have to deal with guards penetrating on you and creating offense. And that's just going to lead to more and more open shots that leads to unsolvable problems on that defense. So, we'll see if the Cavs can win by scoring 120 points per game when Isaiah comes back. But right now, these issues are far more significant this year than they've been at any point in time in the last few years.
Chris Mannix from the Vertical, NBC Sports. You can listen to him 24/7 on the Live Sports Talk Network, NBCSportsRadio.com. Download their mobile app today. Always enjoy it, Chris. We'll do it again soon, pal.
You got it anytime.